Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday, I think it is. I wanted to go live. I just got done with a little huddle group with my school, my functional medicine school. And we were talking, talking about what a lot of our clients are going through during this time and things people are struggling with and just some really key important things to remind our clients about. And so I thought I'd jump on here while everything was fresh in my mind and share some things with you. So the biggest thing was people gaining weight during this time and having cravings and struggling in that aspect. So I have a few tips and I wanted to share them. The biggest one is simple, and it's eating hygiene. And I have a little document that I sent to a lot of my clients on eating hygiene, and I wanted to dive into a couple of things with that. The biggest thing is slow down when you're eating. Slow. So I know probably everyone's kids are home right now, or if you don't have kids and you have the time to sit down and eat, sit down at the kitchen table and take 20 minutes to eat. And so after 20 minutes, a hormone called leptin actually activates in the body and tells the brain that you're full. And so you need that hormone to activate to actually know you're full. So a lot of times, how often do we sit for 20, 30 minutes and actually eat our food, right? So a lot of times, if we sit for 20 minutes, we might actually not be able to finish our entire plate, where before we could have finished that entire plate and still been hungry for dessert or seconds, right? So chewing our food, and this is how I like to start out and explain this to some of my clients often. Put your food on your plate and actually look at it. Look at the color of each food on your plate. Look at the color, smell it, pick it up. Even, if you got some finger food, pick it up and feel it, feel the texture. Really get in tune with the food and how the food is going to affect your body and how it's going to help your body and what nutrients you're going to get from it. So really just getting calm, taking a few deep breaths before you even take a bite of food. So sit your plate down on the kitchen table, take a couple deep breaths, put your phone down, turn the TV off. If the news is on, definitely turn that off. If the kids are running around, they're not sitting down, have everybody sit down at the table and eat their food. If we're not digesting in the stomach, we are not getting the nutrients we need. And the first thing to digestion is chewing properly and getting it to the stomach chewed and ready to digest, starting those digestive enzymes in the mouth. And so that brings me to chewing. First bite of food, everybody food, really. Make sure you're chewing. Hi, Joe. Make sure you are chewing your food. Hi, Patty. Make sure you're chewing your food, like really, really chewing it. And so it's not going down whole, because if it gets whole into the stomach, really hard to digest, and more than likely it's getting to the small intestine whole. And the small intestine does not know what to do with whole food. It needs to be chewed. And you can really test this out if you're doing it right, if it takes 20 minutes to eat your plate of food. So again, 20 minutes it takes for leptin to activate. The hormone that tells your body that you're full. So the other tidbit was there's also a hormone that activates when you're hungry, except we have kind of gotten out of tune with our bodies. So sometimes when we feel hungry, we are actually dehydrated, and so we just need water. So test this theory out while you have the time, while you're at home and craving all the cravings and snacking here and there because you're at home and you have all the food to snack on, right? Test this out first. Drink a glass of water, 8 to 10 ounces. Wait 30 minutes, and if you're still hungry, then eat. Now, if you're an overeater, I would test this out more often. If you're not an overeater and you're undereating, then you're probably just hungry and eat food. But if you're worried about gaining weight or you've gained some weight and you're trying to lose weight, try this out. Drink the water first. See if it's just actually a dehydration thing, because that signal is almost the same in our body. It feels the same. So our body tells us that it needs water in almost the same way that it tells us it needs food. So test out drinking water first. If that doesn't help, definitely wait 20 to 30 minutes, because if you've got a full glass of water, it actually depletes some key digestive enzymes that you need to digest your food. So you want to wait about 20 to 30 minutes before you eat your meal, so that you have the digestive enzymes strong to digest the food. So you don't want to dilute it with water. But if you're trying to figure out if you're thirsty or hungry, that's the way to do it. Drink the water, then wait 20 or 30 minutes. Another good tip is, while you're cooking, how often do we get to starvation and we're so hungry we can't wait till dinner is made? And so we snack while we're eating dinner. So I'll encourage you to actually drink a glass of water when you start cooking. So it takes about 20, 30 minutes sometimes to cook a full meal. So if you know your meal is going to be about 20 to 30 minutes to cook, drink a whole glass of water. Get your body calmed down and satisfied for 20 to 30 minutes, and then eat your dinner. So that way you're not snacking while you're walking around, watching TV, talking. That's stress to the body, and then the food is not going to digest. So try the water trick for that too. Make sure it's about 30 minutes before dinner is done. I talked about the mindfulness. I'm just looking at my notes here. There's a few things I really wanted to touch on. So getting to know your body and what it's telling you. Is it thirsty, hungry, or are you having sugar cravings? Sugar cravings a lot of times means you need to nurture yourself. Ask for nurturing. Maybe you need a hug. So if you're craving sugar, maybe you just haven't had interaction for a while and your body's craving some nurturing effects. So self-care, or ask someone that's in your house for a hug, and see if that doesn't just give you a little bit of satisfaction that the sugar would be giving you. So that's a little tip with sugar cravings. A lot of times those are emotional cravings, and so if we can just satisfy the emotional component, then we can satisfy the sugar craving. And if we're not digesting our food in our stomach, it turns into a lot of issues in the gut. So SIBO, small intestinal bacteria overgrowth, dysbiosis, just IBS, all kinds of diarrhea, constipation. So it's really, really important to start at the mouth with our food and our digestion. And these are simple, easy tips that oftentimes get overlooked because they're sometimes so obvious and so simple that we think it just can't be that easy, right? But it really can. And this is all free stuff. So this is why I always talk about lifestyle changes and emotional stress, because these are simple, easy, free things that we can do for our health that can change our entire health. It can change everything, all the symptoms that we're going through. It can be simple, easy things just like this. Sometimes it's not that easy, but sometimes it is. And so those are free. Let's see. Iron issues. I have some clients that are dealing with some iron issues lately. Either they're high or low, most often low. Don't often see high. Another thing that can cause that is not digesting your food. So not eating properly or not having enough acid in the stomach. So we need acid to digest our food. We have to have it. The acid in our stomach is super low, like a pH of 3. And if you know about the alkaline acidity, 7 is neutral, and so 3 is very acidic. And that's the place in our body that a low pH is actually really good. And so if we have low stomach acid, we're not digesting our food. And there's also H. pylori that can cause that. But really, back to eating hygiene. Eating your food very slowly in a non-stressful environment will help the inflammation in your stomach and will help keep digestive enzymes producing. So first start there, and if that doesn't help, if you've done this for a couple weeks and it's still not helping, then that's where the sessions come in and we dive into why this is still happening. Do we need to get rid of H. pylori? Do we need to give you more stomach acid? And I'm going to tell you that taking a antacid is not the answer. Popping Tums, taking antacid prescriptions, it is definitely not the answer for low stomach acid or for stomach problems or digestive problems. That actually, it makes a change and the body thinks that something has changed, so you feel better for a little bit, but then a lot of times your symptoms come back, and they come back worse a lot of times, because the problem is not that you have low stomach acid, it's that you don't have enough stomach acid and the food is not digesting. So it's sitting there and building up, and then it's coming up. So big myth that you need less stomach acid and you need antacids. You actually, 90% of the time, people need more acid in the stomach. And back to the iron. So if you don't have enough stomach acid, a lot of times it inhibits the ability to absorb iron. And so your iron levels will be low. So if your doctor is constantly putting you on iron all the time, to keep your iron levels neutral or standard, then there's more to it. It's not that you're deficient in an iron pill. There's a reason that you're not getting iron. And if you're eating a correct diet and you're eating a diet with high iron foods, then you should be absorbing your iron. And if you're not, it's probably a low stomach acid issue. And again, that does not mean to take antacids. That means to increase your stomach acid. Ways to do that is apple cider vinegar. There are some supplements that you can take, but things that you might have around your home, fermented foods, apple cider vinegar, taking that 10 minutes before a meal to see if that helps. And, doing that for a few weeks and seeing if your iron levels change. You might just not be absorbing the iron in your food. A very simple solution. And so less money, you're not spending money on iron pills, and it's not a iron pill issue. Yeast and fungal overgrowth can also be not digesting your food correctly, low stomach acid, not eating properly. So again, going back to the food hygiene. So those are just simple, easy tips that I wanted to share with you guys that can literally change your health altogether. The digestive tract starts with the mouth and the saliva, and actually it starts with us smelling our food. So that's why I mentioned looking at your food, looking at all the colors on your plate, smelling the ingredients in your food. If you cook with a lot of herbs and spices, like just really taking that smell and that flavor, that gets the nose starts to tell the mouth to start producing saliva, and all of that is super important in actually digesting your food. And so it starts here, then it goes to your stomach, and then of course things go to your small intestine and your large intestine. So breaking that all down for you so you can get that visual of how things happen and why I would tell you to smell your food and look at your food. Your eyes are telling you that you're going to start eating. Your nose is telling you like you're smelling the food now. It's really going to start happening. We start producing that saliva. I'm actually just even talking about this, I'm starting to produce some saliva thinking about eating lunch. So just test that out and see how that actually starts to happen, and you start to get saliva production. And then, once you do that, notice like when you rush into a meal and you just are eating on the go, see if you're actually even producing that saliva. Once you know what that feels like, a lot of times you can notice when you're rushing and when you're eating too fast, because you're gonna realize, oh my gosh, I'm not even actually producing saliva. I'm just like, actually, I feel like I need water to hydrate my mouth to eat. And so those are just little things that you can start to notice and start to incorporate in just simple eating hygiene techniques. And that will help your health overall. So I hope you found this helpful. I hope those tips were good. On little tips on how to not overeat during this time, and maybe why you're gaining weight because we're not taking the time to sit down and eat, and then we're overeating because that leptin hasn't kicked in and we haven't spent 20 minutes to let the body know if we're full or not. And so then we snack because we took 10 minutes to eat, and now we have an extra 10 minutes before our body even tells us we're full. And so we use that extra 10 minutes to go and get some more snacks, get some dessert, add some sugar in, Yes, it's definitely okay to drool. That means that your body is really activating the saliva and those digestive enzymes. It is really funny. Like, I still am like overproducing. I can feel it. So yeah, test this out. It's super funny. You'll just like feel like you're drooling because you're activating so much digestive enzymes. It's pretty funny. And so, when our pets or animals do that when we have food, like, think about it. They smell it, right? And then they're seeing it and they're like, oh, I just can't wait till this food is in my mouth. We're actually supposed to do that too. I mean, not slobber down our faces, but that's what's supposed to be happening. And a lot of times we just don't even take the time to be present when we're eating. So super easy. We have the time to do it now. Well, some of us, I'm not saying everybody does, but we have the time to do it. And so while you have the time to do it, start doing it. I know this was something that I had to really implement when I left my career in the health field to come into this career and really help people on a deeper level. Is I had patients every 15 minutes. And we didn't get lunches. And so I had to eat while walking and standing up and in between patients. And I was sometimes still chewing my food before I walked in to check on my patients. There was no sitting down at a table and eating my food how I should have been eating it. And some of my worst problems happened when I was in that job because I was not digesting any of my food. I had malabsorption and I had a ton of mineral deficiencies. I had B vitamin issues. My B vitamins were low, all kinds of things. And none of it made sense because I was eating all the right foods with all those minerals and all those vitamins in it. But why was I still low in that stuff? Why was I having to supplement? And it all goes back to the fact that I wasn't able to eat right. I had to quick. And so, just taking the time to eat. And, Kyle, I don't know what's for lunch. We'll talk about that in a minute because I'm ready for lunch. So yes, looking at your job, and that's another factor. If you are busy right now and you're still working, maybe you're working from home or maybe you're still having to go into work, maybe realizing that shutting down the emails and taking that 20 minutes, even though maybe it's not allowed, but really, really trying to more often than not take that 20 minutes and eat your food. It's so important for your health. And so I just thought I would remind everyone of that today. If you're rewatching this after it's already been live and you have some questions for me, pop them in the comments or let me know how this helped you today or things that really you didn't know about that I shared or something that you might want me to go live about or something else you're struggling with. It's just something I heard people struggling with is overeating and gaining some weight during this time. And so I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of help. So have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your week and happy eating.